A. Ant on apple, ah. One day, Mother Ant was looking for her babies and couldn't find them anywhere. She needed to get higher up so she could find them. So she climbed up to the top of a large apple. From the top of the apple, she saw her little babies, and they were so happy to be together again. B. Bat and ball, B. It was finally time for the ball game at the park. Benjamin was ready for this fun day. He had been practicing every day and felt he was ready to win this year. His challenge was to hit a ball with the bat and then bounce another ball 2 times before the other contestants. The whistle blew. He swung his bat, hit the ball on his first try, and bounced the ball that was thrown to him 2 times before anyone else. Hooray! He won. C. Candle on cake. Today was Cadence's birthday. Her family put the cake in front of her so she could make a wish and blow out her candle. She closed her eyes, took a breath, and blew. But the flame did not go out. She took a deep breath, closed her eyes, and blew. And still the flame did not go out. Then she had an idea. She cupped her hand in the shape of a C and blew. Hooray! Her candle went out. D. Dirty dog, D. The Douglas family was getting ready to leave for the day. They told their dog Much not to go in the mud, and if he did, he would have to get a bath when they returned. While they were gone, sure enough, Much headed over to the mud. He rolled in it, jumped in it, and dug a hole in it. When the Douglases returned home and saw him all covered in mud, they dusted off his fur and said, "Dirty dog," and put him in the tub for bath time. E. Ed and Edna elephant, eh. There once was a lonely elephant named Ed. His favorite thing to do was splash in the water, but he wanted a friend to do it with. So he decided to go into the forest and look for one. As he was exploring, he heard a trumpeting sound very much like his own. So he trumpeted back. Back and forth went the sounds until, at last, he found where the sound was coming from. A large pond with an elephant in it on the other side of the forest. Her name was Edna, and she too loved the water. They became the best of friends. F. Firemen fighting fire, F. The firemen got a call that there was a large fire on the top of the hill. They raced over in the fire truck and prepared the fire hose. They grabbed the hose and were ready to fight the fire, but only a drop of water came out. Other firefighters saw there was a knot in the hose. They quickly fixed it, and the firefighters were able to put the fire out. G. Golden goose, G. There once was a goose who did not look like the other geese. Her feathers were golden and theirs were white. They watched her sparkle in the sun and would tell her how they wished their feathers were golden too. One morning, when they all awoke, they each found a golden feather attached to theirs. The golden goose had shared her golden feathers, and they all sparkled in the sun together. H. Happy house, H. One day, there was a sad house. It was sad because every day it rained and the house did not get any sun. Then one day, after a long rainstorm, The clouds parted and gave way to a shiny, warm sun and a beautiful rainbow. The house turned its frown upside down and was the happiest house on the street. It is in the igloo. There was a hungry ice fisherman who was in need of some food. So he cut out a hole in the ice on top of a lake and dropped his fishing line into it. After a few minutes, he heard a cracking sound and splash! He fell into the frozen water. He quickly got out of the water and headed over to his igloo to warm himself by the fire. When he noticed a pair of eyes inside the igloo, oh no, was it a polar bear? As he crept closer, he realized it was just his dog waiting for him by the warm fire. J, jars of jam, There were 3 jars of jam in the kitchen, and Mom asked which jam the kids wanted with their toast for breakfast. The kids didn't know which was their favorite because they never had jam before. So they tried a scoop of each. Strawberry jam was their favorite. K, kind king K. There was a king who lived in a large palace with the queen. The people of the kingdom would come to them and ask for things they needed. One man asked for 3 bags of grain so his family could grow it to make bread. And the king said yes.
Yes.
Once the grain grew, the man gave the king many loaves of bread, and everyone ate the fresh, delicious bread and celebrated together. Another man asked for 5 chickens, and the king said yes.
Yes.
Later, the farmer gave the king lots of eggs from his hens. They used those eggs to make yummy cakes and celebrated together. One woman asked for 7 sheep so she could make wool for the winter. The king said yes.
Yes.
That winter, she brought him many sweaters, and everyone was warm. The king was kind, and in return, the people were kind to the king, and their kingdom thrived. L, Leo the lazy lion. One day, Leo the lion was resting under a shady tree. Zebra walked by and asked Leo if he wanted to go for a run. Leo yawned, said no. Next, Hyena strolled by and asked Leo if he wanted to get something to eat. Leo yawned, said no. Later, Tiger paraded in front of Lion and asked if he wanted to go in the water. And Leo, with a very lazy yawn, replied no. Leo was the laziest lion in all the land. He napped his way through the whole day and missed all the fun. M, mailman. One day, there was a mailman who was carrying a large bag of mail that needed to be delivered. While he was walking, he noticed something moving in this mail bag. He looked in his bag to find a mouse, and the mouse was putting the envelopes in order by address. The mailman was able to deliver everyone's mail faster than ever. To thank his tiny helper, he brought him a huge chunk of cheese, and they became best friends and delivered the mail together. N, 9 nails. Baba Bird was looking for the perfect nest for his family. He searched and finally found a tree with several empty nests. One nest was wedged between 2 branches. When he gave the nest a try, it fell through the branches. Then he found a nest with rocks around it and sat in it. But a strong wind swayed the tree and the rocks went rolling down. He flew around the tree and noticed a net that was hammered into a branch with 9 nails. He added some straw, sat in the nest, and it was strong and comfortable. Finally, he found the perfect nest. Oh, Ollie the octopus on an octagon. Ah. Ollie was a large octopus with 8 long tentacles. He was tired from roaming around the ocean and wanted to take a rest. As he was swimming, he found a rock in the shape of a circle. He sat down, tried to get comfortable, but his tentacles had no room to stretch. So he moved on. Then he came across a triangle-shaped rock. He sat in it, but had to squeeze his 8 tentacles onto the rock's 3 sides, and that was not comfortable at all. He stumbled upon an octagon rock. He had a place for each tentacle to stretch and relax. It was the most comfortable rest Ollie had ever had. P, piece of pie, P. Paul was in a pie eating contest. He had to eat 5 pies to win the grand prize. He ate 1 cherry pie, 1 apple pie, 1 pumpkin pie, 1 pecan pie, and almost a whole blueberry pie. He was 1 piece of blueberry pie away from winning the contest when he got a big tummy ache and had to stop eating. He didn't win, but he sure did enjoy all those pies. Q, Queen's quilt, Qu. It was the Queen's birthday today. Villagers from all over the kingdom lined up in front of the palace to give the Queen presents. One by one, they came in and presented their gift. One villager gave the Queen a long peacock feather. They said she could use it as a quill to write letters. But the feather was so long that her fingers would hurt holding it up to write. Another villager gave the Queen huge ruby earrings and said they would sparkle even during the darkest night. When she wore them, however, they were so heavy that they pulled her ears. The last villager was an old woman who had sewn a quilt for the Queen. It was not as grand as the long, colorful peacock feather or as shiny and rich as her ruby earrings. However, when the Queen wrapped herself in the quilt, she was warm, comfortable, and cozy. It was the best present she had received, and she wore it proudly. R, running rabbit. Rabbit was so excited to be a part of the animal races. He woke up very early the morning of the race to prepare for the big day. He put on his running suit and flip-flops. But when he tried to run, he couldn't go very fast. Those flip-flops slipped off his feet. So he decided to lace up his tennis shoes and gave those a try. But they squeezed his feet and his legs went numb. He couldn't run in the race with numb feet. So he decided to run with no shoes at all. He loved the feel of his furry feet on the ground. He was able to run quickly up and down the hill and won the race. S, sunset. S. It was Family Fun Day, and the kids were so excited for this special day. In the morning, they swam in the lake and played water games. In the afternoon, they went fishing on their boat and had a picnic lunch. In the evening, they ate their popsicles on the rocks and watched the sunset over the lake. It was a great day they wouldn't soon forget. T, tan, tent, t. The kids were going camping this summer. They helped pack their clothes, tent, and food into the family van. At the campsite, Mom asked them to set up the tent. They had never set up a tent before. The poles that held the tent up were all tangled together. It took them 2 hours to fix it. When their job was finally done, they were exhausted. That evening, Mom and Dad called them over to make s'mores by the warm fire. When the kids didn't respond, Mom and Dad went looking for them and found them fast asleep in the tent they built. You ugly umpire. The twins were playing against each other on the last baseball game of the season. It was Pam's turn to bat. She swung her bat twice and missed. On her last swing, the ball turned slightly left right before she could hit it. Oh no. The umpire made a mean face and said, out. Pam didn't win, but Sam's team did, and they all celebrated together over some pizza and ice cream. V, Violet Van V. Valerie took her old van to the paint shop and asked them to paint it violet, her favorite color. When it was finished, she saw they had painted it lavender instead. They quickly set back to work to fix their mistake. When she returned, it was painted purple. Oh, she decided to show them a picture of the color violet, and they quickly set back to work again. This time, the van was perfect, a shiny violet color that sparkled in the sun. W, wooden wagon, W. William went to the store to buy a wagon to help him with the treehouse he was building. He saw a glass wagon and realized that would not be the best wagon for him, since something heavy might crack the glass. He saw a metal wagon and decided that wouldn't be a good choice either, because it could burn him on a hot day. And he saw a wooden wagon and decided to buy that one. It was the perfect wagon to help him get the job done. X, 6 fox in a box. X. Mommy Fox and her 6 babies were moving into a new home. She told them to keep away from the boxes before she went into the kitchen to make lunch. The 6 foxes didn't listen and decided to throw everything out of all the boxes and made a big mess. When they heard Mama Fox returning, they went and hid inside a box. When she saw them, she scolded them for not listening. They had to spend that afternoon putting everything back the way it was. Y, yellow yarn, yeah. Yo-Yo the cat's favorite thing to do was play with a ball of yellow yarn in Miss Yam's knitting basket. Whenever she would knit, Yo-Yo would search for the yellow yarn and bat it with her paws. She wasn't interested in any other color, just the yellow one. Miss Yam would have to knit her yellow things high up in the air so Yo-Yo wouldn't get them tangled in her claws. Miss Yam's arms would get tired from doing this, so she bought an extra ball of yellow yarn just for Yo-Yo, and Miss Yam was finally able to knit in comfort. Z, zebra in the zoo, Z. It was the day of the animal show at the zoo. The audience filled the stands and were cheering with excitement. All the animals were fed and cleaned for the show, all except for Zebra. Zebra was still eating and did not want to leave her food. When the zookeeper heard this, he quickly put on the zebra costume he had and joined the show. No one could tell the difference and had a blast watching the animals parade around the stage. The zookeeper saved the day